All right, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Long Range Addicts. Thanks for watching. We're going to do a quick intro, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling with Jose. Let's do the intro. Again, appreciate you all for tuning in. It's a busy week. It's a busy time, but we appreciate it. All you that are listening on the podcast side, thanks for listening.
We love shooting, hunting, and educating. So if you want to learn about long-range shooting, you're in the right place. This is the Long Range Addicts Podcast. Shooter ready, stand by.
All right, man. Welcome. How you doing?
Thank you. Oh, plugging along.
Looks like you're sitting in a motel room enjoying yourself, huh?
Man, the day job's got to pay for all the fun stuff, right?
Yeah, the meat packer, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, again, appreciate you all for tuning in. I realize there's a lot of podcasts out there. There's a lot of people talking cool stuff. We appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. We wanted to do a quick little short podcast today. I want to try and put some of these in with our long ones. We've got a good one coming up Wednesday that I'm really excited about, and we'll be promoting that here in the next day or so. But today I wanted to kind of talk to Jose about, he hosts matches in Colorado, does a few different team matches, different things like that. And I thought, number one, we could help him promote his matches. And number two, we could let hopefully listeners in the, surrounding area of Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, everybody kind of understand what Jose's got going on there. And maybe we can shed some light for some new shooters that want to come out and check this out. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick, Jose?
Yeah, sure. So as Cole mentioned, my name's Jose Gardner. I help with the review side of Team POI, a competitive shooter based out of northern Colorado, the Greeley area. Been shooting long range for, 3-4 years now. Kind of started back when I lived in Utah, and then kind of picked it back up as I moved to Colorado, surrounded by a whole bunch of good shooters. So.
Yeah, and you and your wife are both, you've been seeing around a lot. You've got your wife involved, which is awesome. It's good to see the ladies involved, different things like that. One of the big things I wanted to talk to you about, there's a lot of team matches that are getting more and more popular. You got Competition Dynamics, you've got the Vortex Extreme, you've got a lot of these big matches that are coming on, but you guys kind of put on maybe I wouldn't necessarily say smaller, but it's a little more entry level for people that want to come run a bolt and a gas gun. And that's, a lot of people kind of get scared, and sometimes it's a lot nicer to do it with a team, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you hit the nail on the head. So Competition Dynamics is kind of where this all started. So my shooting partner, Brett Dorland, who's the only reason I do any of this, he kind of mentored me, brought me up, and we started shooting the Competition Dynamics Team Challenge, which is an absolute butt kicker in itself. Absolutely great match. They put on Team Safari as well, the Sniper Adventure Challenge, and that's kind of the inspiration for the matches we decided to start putting on. And I love seeing, Jim C., I think he calls it the Rebel Alliance series now. It's actually a kind of a regional level series of team matches with a bolt gunner and a gas gunner, and his is a little bit different because it's based on time, but you got to get the hits or else there's penalties, and I absolutely love that. But ours, that's exactly right. We wanted to make it a little bit more entry level, right? I mean, Competition Dynamics, a little bit steeper entry fee. You got probably 2 days of vacation you got to take, different things. And we wanted to get one, a lot of times the way this helps promote the growth is you got a bolt gunner who's an experienced shooter, and he's got a buddy who he could lend a gas gun to, come out, show the ropes. All of our matches, the gas gunner gets usually unlimited ammo, so there's not as much pressure as the bolt gunner. And we kind of set it up to where it can be entry level, as well as it's almost as much strategy as it is precision. Like there's some time clock and the way you manage your round count to get high score and all that. So definitely we try to lower that barrier of entry to get involved.
Yeah, and I know, when I first started, it would have been nice to sit down, talk to other shooters, kind of figure out, what works the best for, for going into a stage, reading wind, dialing, different things. So if you're a newer shooter and you're trying to understand crap, this might be a little overwhelming. If you're not going to RO, if you're not going to do that kind of stuff, this might be a really good way to kind of walk along with somebody and learn the ropes, and a lot of people have an AR. It doesn't have to necessarily be top of the line, just it needs a good optic on it and different things. And, you can go out there and compete, and it's kind of a little bit different, setting, it sounds like, than, the big competition ones. Now, do you guys have stages ranged and everything, or do they need to range that on the clock?
Right. No, it's known distance. So basically it takes the same parameters of the Pikes Peak. We kind of have a basic target format down at the Pikes Peak Precision Rifle Club. And we kind of base all of our stages off of that. So they're all known distance. And then basically every stage, like you said, to be able to talk to an experienced shooter and learn some of those things, every stage we literally write the stage description in a way that encourages communicating and teamwork. For instance, there might be one where every target's worth 3 points, but any individual shooter can only get 2 points, which means the bolt gunner might take a shot, get a dead center hit, and tell the AR guy, hey, I held 8 mile an hour wind, hold that and go to town. Right. So it kind of gives you that real life, like real time. The AR gunner was watching it through a scope, watched the guy hit, he's told 8 miles an hour, and boom, he can start going. And kind of real time training, as well as just a heck of a lot of fun and crap talking.
So can you use, so it can be AR-15 or AR-10?
Yeah, it can be absolutely anything. The only thing, it could be honestly an M14. We allow anything that's a semi-automatic under 3,200 feet per second and not a Magnum to count as the carbiner. And we will actually also allow 2 carbines, but just the way everything works out, if you shoot 2 carbines as a team, one of those still adheres to the round count of a bolt gunner. But yeah, so pretty much any semi-automatic that meets the speed and caliber restrictions. So
okay, that's interesting. Now, I know a lot of our listeners might be getting into this, might be trying to figure out. So do you guys have a Facebook page that maybe a lot of these new shooters can come join, learn about the Colorado matches, figure out maybe if it's something they want to kind of venture off and do? How do you guys have that set up?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I would recommend is Pikes Peak Precision Rifle, as you can kind of see on my shirt. It's the name of our group for the Cheyenne Mountain Shooting Complex. So that's where we'll host one match a year. At least Brett and I will. The way it works is there's a different match director every month of the year, and a lot of the matches have different focuses. So Pikes Peak Precision Rifle, it's a group, not a page. So obviously way more interaction happens there. A lot of new guys come in, they ask for we'll lend out loaner guns. I've sent guns down to matches I didn't even shoot at. Nick Depperschmidt, I think he had a gun that got shot at Pikes Peak more than he shot Pikes Peak that year. Like, we try to be really helpful to all the new folks. We have a train up day every year. That is not a competition. It's just the veteran shooters helping new shooters through 8 different standard stages. So yeah, definitely Pikes Peak Precision Rifle. There's another one called NOCO Precision Rifle Match. And then Brett and I also run High Plains Precision. So that's actually a Facebook page. It'll keep you updated on like our Border Wars match and any other matches we start putting on. So.
Okay. So if you've got listeners out there, we've got the live, and then of course we've got the podcast side. What do you recommend to our listeners? Now, I'm going to ask this to most of our, the people that come on the show, but what do you, as a competitive shooter, you've been shooting long enough, what do you recommend to new shooters trying to get into this?
Man, honestly, I've said this before. All it takes to be a new shooter, all it takes if you don't want to be, maybe let's say burdensome to anybody, is bring a decent rifle with a scope that dials and your own ammo to any local club. I guarantee you, any local club in the Front Range, Rocky Mountain region, Utah, Wyoming, whatever, there will be shooters there that will absolutely take you by the hand and go. And frankly, if you want to ask ahead of time, it's more often than not possible that, you get on the page or you message match director, hey, I really want to get into this. I want to feel my way through. Anybody that could loan me a rifle, I'm telling you, somebody will do it. The match directors love seeing that. So the less intimidating ways to come out and offer to RO, just come out and watch a match. But I always tell people, skip that step and pay the $30 entry fee and shoot. If you get 3 hits all day, you're still going to learn a ton. You're going to get a feel for it. You're going to laugh. You're going to learn from great guys. And there should be nothing intimidating about it. Somebody goes out and sets up a private range for you, and you get to shoot out to 1,000 yards for $30. That's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah. And I get that a lot. A lot of shooters, I've had a few messages lately, especially after we started the podcast, is, I've got this gun. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and build this cartridge. And I kind of look at it and I'm like, why would you do that cartridge? There's so many other ones. Or why would you do, why would you do this scope? Why would you do this bipod? Why would you do this? So this is one reason why I kind of want to do these smaller episodes like with Jose, we can go around and talk to match directors and kind of get a feel of how the matches are set up, so that if you want to come maybe visit or RO, as a match director, as Jose knows very well, it's hard as heck sometimes to get some really good ROs that can come in and really help. And
definitely a fact.
That's the thing, is if you've got a good pair of binos or spotter, you can come. A lot of people might not. I've seen a lot of times, I'll loan people I've got a whole bunch of spotters and binos. I'll loan them, if they want to sit in RO, or even if they want to sit on a stage and watch and figure out how it's ran. But again, I just wanted to do this to kind of promote his matches, and then hopefully get some more people in the Colorado area maybe a little more excited about competing. Hopefully we can get more people out to these. The big crossover with hunting. Colorado's a huge hunting state. I'm always putting in for points in Colorado. Things like this are going to make you better hunters, especially on a team match where, you're on the clock, you're stressed, you're trying to figure some stuff out. You got a guy next to you trying to call wind for you, things like that. If you can put it in your head that this is how you're going to train for hunting or different scenarios, and then just, of course, the fun aspect of it, getting to meet everybody.
Totally.
He's given you some Facebook pages. Jose's done really good at, putting it out there on the different things. I'll try and link some across from our Long Range Addicts podcast Facebook page, so that hopefully we can get some more backlinks there for you guys. When are the dates of it again?
So what we're calling the Fat Boys Team Bash, sponsored by Burris, is going to be April 11th of this year, 2020. And then also the bigger ones to look out for will be June 28th weekend is Competition Dynamics, Burris Optics Team Challenge, and then there'll be Team Safari on in October, I believe, as well. So there's a couple coming around. And Vortex Extreme is August. I want to say early August. So,
okay, yeah, and that's one of the big things is, go through some of these groups and check out the dates, because, you can kind of plan out. My wife was just here in the office with me, and we've got this giant calendar in my office trying to figure it out. And holy crap, man, freaking matches are out of
everywhere.
And, there's honestly no excuses anymore for not trying to be more involved in shooting. Right.
Right.
With everything else that's going on negatively around and everything else, it's craziness. So you had a couple, you had the PRS, you had, what was the Varmint Town Classic? Is that a one-dayer?
Yeah, so that's the NRL Border Wars. It filled up in about a day and a half. We had 80 shooters sign up in like 30 hours or something crazy, which it's in the middle of nowhere, northern Colorado. I honestly thought people just wouldn't want to drive there, but and we got a pretty big wait list so far, but obviously those things change. But that'll be March 28th, and it'll be shots to a mile, 10 stages. There's one that we're really excited about that I don't think anybody's seen at a match before. So yeah, that's definitely one. If people want to come see some of the best shooters in the region and an actual high-profile one-day match, that would be a fun one to come check out. Fun one for sure.
All right. Yeah, so you've got quite a few matches lined out.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Well, no, I really like the point you brought up about hunting, and I'm seeing Mike Jeffries down here says I'm getting into long range specifically for being a better hunter. That was honestly my reason to get into it. I moved from the South, where 80 yards with the Remington Corlock's a long shot, right? And so I moved out to Utah, a lot of open land, and honestly, being able to go from a 200-yard shooter to just a 500-yard shooter greatly increases your odds, and like you said, that pressure under the time clock, I think the more and more you shoot and you're making decisions, you're making adjustments for the wind, you're adjusting your position quickly. I've noticed when it's time to take that 600-yard shot while hunting, you do it with a lot clearer head, and it's a lot of fun. Basically, I don't shoot anymore to be a better hunter, right? At the end of the day, I don't want to shoot any farther than I already have for game. It's a lot of fun, but for guys that want to get into it, your ability to crunch all that information very quickly and with a clear head, this is priceless learning for that kind of stuff.
And that's one of the big things we're going to talk about Wednesday. Maybe I'll do a quick shout out right here where we're talking. If anybody know who's Emil Praslick is, Emil Praslick will be on the show Wednesday. He's known as the Wind God, Army Marksmanship Unit coach. The guy works for Berger now, world record holder. The guy is understanding huge about that stuff. So, and that's another variable of long range shooting is wind. It's probably one of the biggest. A lot of people look into shooting and they kind of overlook the educating yourself on wind. So we're going to talk about that Wednesday. So if you want to learn a lot more about wind reading, understanding when to target and stuff, we're going to go over that with Emil. I'm excited about it. I've heard him, being gone around the country as much as I have. I've been in a few of his things. I think they had one up there at the
22 ELR
22
yep.
one where he had one up there, and I'm excited to see to kind of have him educate me too, because that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this freaking podcast is I know a lot, I guess, but I always want to soak up more, to become a better shooter and a better hunter. So anyway, I appreciate you, man. I know you're busy. Yeah. It's a Monday night. But hopefully we can bring you on the show maybe later, and we can do, maybe a co-hosting, or we can bring some people on and talk. You've got a lot of background in that side, and as a reviewer for us, it's going to be exciting what 2020 holds anyway.
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff to put out. Super excited.
Mm-hmm. All right, I appreciate you, dude. If you guys have any questions for us, let us know. We are on iTunes, we're on the Podbean, we're on any of those. There's a lot of places to do it. I appreciate the Firearms Radio Network for putting some belief in us for starting this whole new thing with them. And if you want to learn more, go to the Firearms Network. Kind of learn about. They've got a lot of podcasts on there. I mean,
no doubt.
Everything. That's going to be one I want to talk about. A medical one with precision rifle shooting, because it's going to leave a big friggin' hole. So there's a lot of different things we're going to go over this year, and hopefully we can have you back, Jose. I appreciate you, dude.
Anytime, bud. I appreciate it.
If you have any questions, let us know.
Yep. Reach out.
Don't be afraid to pipe up. Send us your questions or topics and we'll cover them on the show. Thanks for listening.